out in the woods, and I can see, you can tell when there's a fire at a distance, so I'm up over this little knoll behind this log. I'm in a stealth mode like a, I don't know, Green Beret or something, and I'm peeking up over, and there's, 12, 13 people in cloaks. There's a big machete on a bench, and there's a goat chain there, and they're going around the fire chanting stuff, and I'm like, oh, no, I'm not crashing this barbecue. So I very slowly backed out of there so quietly you could hear a mouse, what. And I got out of there quick. And that enlightened me to, again, nobody knew where I was going, really. and I went by myself. And it was in the middle of nowhere in the woods. And these are bad things because, boy, like Gary said, if they'd have found me, I might have never come home.
You might have been the goat. You might have been, you know what? You might have been chained up yourself with the goat. I mean, that's just, again, when you tell a story, like you both have told me a story, I'm using my mind and I'm picturing the whole thing. It's so bizarre what's out there.
You never know. And the thing was, I never knew about that. I knew that land was messed up, but I'd never put two and two together till like 20-some years later when I seen the movie The Conjuring, because that's where it was. It was in Rhode Island, where that land is. And then, then after that, there was a cult that was, kidnapping prostitutes and runaways and homeless people, and they were killing them. And I'm not saying that was them, but it could have been. There was all these things that came together all within rushing. I looked back, I was like, oh my goodness, was I ever so lucky? And then I seen this movie that had, I don't know what it was called, but it was the same scenario. It was from the early 70s. I think it had Warren Oates in it and Peter Fonda, and they come up on the same situation I did, only they got caught. And they chased them around for days trying to kill them, because they seen what they were doing. And it was, all that came to me, and I was like, wow, I no more of that stuff.
No more for you. You be a radio host. That's it.
And listen, George, I've done years of helping people, and usually I get called in to help teams and people with, what they call the real bad stuff. And, after years of doing it takes a toll on you. So I've recently just retired from that. I mean, really, I help people over the phone or something, but any more boots on the ground, I'm sped up, man. I've seen enough. I've done enough. I can't take no more. Really.
No, and you've probably seen the paranormal field change I don't want to say it's for the worse, but I'm sure that you've been doing it for a while. That as I know, the paranormal everything seems to be changing, and I don't like it. And I don't mean that there's too many TV shows out there. There's too many things out there. It's the same show over and over again.
And I'm going to jump in here, George. I'm not going to mention the show, but at one point back about 10 months ago, one of the stars of one of these ghost shows, I won't say the network, I'm not going to say the show, he was going to come on my show. And then he was fired from the show. The network fired him. And it was because he got tired of what was going on, and he voiced his opinion to the network. They would go out and they would go out and film, and they would come back, right? And they would have nothing. And the network told him, well, go out and go back and fake it. And he finally got to the point where he said, I'm not going to do this anymore. And then they canned him for it. He was going to come on my show, but then after that, he just kind of was in a downer, and he just wasn't doing any interviews. I got to get a hold of him and see how he is now. But he was a major one, and just it tells you when you watch some of these ghost shows or UFO shows or anything in the paranormal. Some of them, it's all about ratings because that's how they pay their bills. They're not going to have advertisers come and advertise if they don't have something to glue the audience to it. But it's pretty bad, though, when the network tells you to go back out and fake it. Yeah. Come back with, whatever. We don't care. That does damage to the paranormal.
And that's it. And again, you know that you're absolutely right, because there is out there that again, without naming networks or people, absolutely. But you're absolutely, it is about numbers. It's about ratings. Because if you don't have ratings, then the TV show's done, and et cetera. So, do I think I'm not saying nothing is fake now, but I do think sometimes it's exaggerated, and that's okay. If you want to exaggerate evidence, that's good, as long as it's true evidence. It's like, if you really do get an EVP and you want to be extremely more excited, then so be it. I can't damage you for that. But what to fake or whatever it may be, then that's something different. Because what happens is, then we all look like frauds. And then we all look like we're fakers and such. And what's terrible, well, no, what's good, I guess, or terrible, I don't know which way to go with it. But when it comes to paranormal, I could say I could see something right now in my garage, and the only person that knows that they can see it is myself. And so anybody could say they see something, doesn't mean it's really there. Without proper data or evidence or whatever it may be. But I do have to, whoever that person was, you got to say thank you, because the paranormal is real, and there's no room to fake it. There's absolutely no room to fake it, because it's really out there. It's just like aliens or Bigfoot. It's really out there. There's no need to fake it. Just be patient with it, and you'll get the evidence that you really desire.
Oh, and it might take a while, because you know what? I've said it on my show numerous times. I ran into a Bigfoot up in the Canadian Rockies. Now, was I?
That's awesome.
Not really. That's the first time I wet my pants since kindergarten. But I will say this, George, I wasn't looking for a Bigfoot. Me and my friend, who's a medical doctor, we were out there, taking pictures of ghost towns. We went to an old Japanese internment camp up in the Canadian Rockies. And we went into it, 2 miles from a back road, which is not much of a road to get to it. And, my friend goes, "Look at that bear." Then we realized it wasn't a bear, but we weren't looking for it. But the people are out looking for it, come back and they say, "Oh, we didn't find one." When you find anything, just like when you're ghost hunting, it's going to be, it's going to happen when it happens. It's not going to happen sometimes if you're going out and trying to make it happen. That's what I'm saying. And there's some people out there, that's what they do. They try to make stuff happen, and it doesn't, it doesn't pan out.
Well, it's like love. There's like love. You can't search, if you're looking for a relationship, when you search, when anybody searches for a relationship, it doesn't happen. You got to let it happen naturally, and then it'll happen. It's when you really, does that make sense? I mean, there's times that, people, and it just happened. How'd you meet? It just happened. It's just a relationship, I have to tell you this once.
We got a few minutes. We got a few minutes. Go ahead.
Real quick. Okay, good. Okay, so there was this one just came to mind, and it blew my mind. This was intelligence. This showed intelligence when I did this paranormal investigation. There's a pizza parlor in Pleasanton, California. It is called Gay 90s Pizza. No, it's just a pizza parlor, but it's all propped up from the 20s and 30s, so they call it the Gay 90s. And what was really great during Halloween time is I was by myself. My wife was doing a group tour, and I was by myself underground. There's these underground tunnels that went from point A to point B, because back in the day, the Japanese would build train tracks and stuff from for above ground, and they had to travel underground because they were not allowed to be in the, I don't know, they couldn't be above ground, or they couldn't be in the day because they were treated wrong back in the time. So they had to use their tunnels to go from point A to point B without getting beat up or whatever it may be. So I was under this pizza parlor, and there's tunnels are there, and they're closed off. And I was taking the EVP, and I was asking all these questions and stuff. And finally, I got this EVP answer. And what was really cool about this, if I may, it was like I asked this question because somebody told me, look, it was all about Japanese railroad people that were building railroad tracks. I asked this one question, and I go, "Are you white or Chinese?" And I crap you not, I got this EVP, and it said, "I'm not Chinese. No, I'm not white." But when you could try to talk Chinese, it sounded like a man that was Chinese, like he was trying to talk American, and he was forcing it out. I don't know if that makes any sense at all, but it was like, "Oh, how you do? I am not." It was like that. "I am not white," and it was just like that, and it blew me away. And it was probably one of my EVPs that will never forget, because it was something I couldn't see. It was paranormal, and he was most definitely 100%. Well, he wasn't white, because that's what he told me, but he sounded Chinese, and it was phenomenal. It was so phenomenal that it was great, And I wanted to share that really quick. I do apologize.
Oh, no problem. Now, George, if people want to get a hold of you, or they need your service, how can they find you, George?
Oh heck, you know what? I'm really easy, you know, and I'm an open book. What you want to go to is, and I just deal in Facebook for right now. My first name is George, my last name is Schopplein, and that's SCHOPP as in Paul, LEIN. You can find me on Facebook, and you know what? You friend me, and I will accept you. I that's where you can find me, and I would answer any questions. I love to talk to people. I will reach out personally. I won't just say hi. I will actually message you, and I'll answer any questions. I'll help you with anything you need when it comes to the paranormal, or if you just need someone to chat with, you know, to direct you to a positive direction.
Interesting. Again, they can find you on Facebook. Now, do you have an email address you give out, or a website, or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I give you my email address. That's fine. It's first name is G, first letters G, last name. And that's going to be at iCloud.com. Okay.
Now, any website or anything you want to share out or anything?
I don't have a website. I got some stuff coming up in 2020. So with a TV station, so I had to delete all that stuff. With respect, please, is I had to take all that stuff away and keep quiet for a while. So it won't be back up until about 3 more months.
Oh, wow. Well, congratulations. Now, are you able to come back on in January and continue on talking about ghost hunting and spirits?
I'll tell you, if you invite me back, I would be honored. I would be honored to come back. I think you guys are amazing for what you do. And if I can help 1 or 2 people out there, I would love to come back. I think you guys are amazing people.
No, I was thinking maybe what we could do is take a few phone calls, too, next time. And let you talk to the listeners. Now, James, you got about 2 minutes, a question, if you want to ask it.
Yeah, George, looking back on that Kennedy case with everything that happened to you, because I've seen the show and we know each other, I've seen your stuff. If looking back and reflecting, what do you think you could take away from that? What was it that was maybe lashing out, or was there a lesson there, or just tell me your insights after reflecting, looking back.
Sure. Okay, reflecting back on that, I just thought about this a few weeks back, to be honest with you, James, is don't tease the paranormal. What I did upstairs, I think what was going on is we played a poker. There's a poker table upstairs in that 3rd level, and we were actually playing poker with, we had cards there, and we were playing with, we kept a few open chairs. And I put gold on top of the table. I put my gold wedding ring on top of the table, and I bet it. And I said, look, you can have, I might have said, like, I'm putting it all in. I don't have any money left, but I'm putting this gold ring. And if I remember correctly, James, is the cards I had, I lost compared to the cards that were on the other hand that I didn't know about. And it might have been 2 queens against 2 kings. That I don't remember. But I took my gold ring back, and I put it back on my finger. And I, to this day, maybe not, that I was being attacked, or maybe somebody was pissed off that I took the gold back, and I should have left it because I lost the card game. Because back then, gold was so huge. That's what they played. They played gold. And it being a mining town or a mining place, maybe it was because I was being attacked that next morning because I took my gold ring back, and technically I probably should have left it. Not that I could, but I didn't take it as serious as I should have. I should have never placed real gold atop of the table.
That's a good point. Now, what's the scariest
James, we're out of time.
Okay.
Well, George, I will email you in the next day or two. We'll get you booked back in, like mid or so January, and we'll even set it up, maybe like a little bit longer. We'll add an extra half an hour if you don't mind, and we'll take some calls from the listeners and stuff.
I would love it. I look forward to it. I really do. Thank you so much for having me on, and I wish you both the best, and keep on doing what you're doing.
Well, you have a good one, and, I really enjoyed, having you on.
I appreciate that, sir.
Okay, my friend, you take care.
You too. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Good night, everybody. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you.
One day while reading history, I paused to take a sigh. about the land Afghanistan, where empires go to die. Alexander the Great, he tried and failed. The Mongols